It'd be easy for me to just say, fasting too much is bad, but when can it actually become dangerous, actually detrimental, actually causing negative outcomes? Well, we can look at 5 zones of fasting to find the ideal amount, but also the detrimental amount. So this video is going to be great because not only is it going to tell you when fasting becomes dangerous, it's going to help you find that sweet spot. And I'll give you some actionable things that you can do to also find that ideal sweet spot or know when it's going too far. So look at this chart that's on the screen right now. It shows 5 zones. Now this is kind of a hormetic stressor chart in a way, but these 5 zones are essentially different periods of fasting, different frequencies of fasting, okay? Zone 1 is not a lot of frequency, zone 5 is a lot of frequency, and we'll break down what this looks like specifically so you have an idea. So let's jump right in. Now, zone 1, you notice there's not a lot of benefit. So if you look at the line, it's not going up super high. It's still more benefit than not fasting at all, but this kind of fast is, say, maybe doing sporadic 24-hour fasts, maybe once or twice a month. It's still good, like just to do that, you know, but we're talking predominantly from a longevity perspective, not necessarily from a body composition perspective. If you 16-8 fast 1 day a week for a month, you could still have a positive body composition effect if you don't overeat. But anyhow, point is, the issue that we face with this infrequent fasting is that, number 1, the ability for you to overcompensate the calories that you lost during that fast is pretty high. So unfortunately, it's easy to undo the work of a 24-hour fast that's done very infrequently, okay? So you're not getting a lot of benefit there. It's definitely not dangerous, and it's definitely better than no fasting at all if you ask me, but you're not getting a huge benefit. The other issue is you're not fasting frequently enough to generate ketones. Now, I know that you may not be into a ketogenic diet, and that's fine, but longer fasting, like north of 16 hours, one of the key benefits is the fact that you start producing ketones, which is putting you in a metabolic state that is really optimal for energy manufacturing and optimal for mitochondrial biogenesis and optimal for just overall mitochondrial function and things that have to do with, well, essentially how we feel and our vitality. So you're not getting that state as much, and that poses an issue, okay? So now we move into zone 2. Now, if you look at the chart again, you see zone 2, we start to hockey stick up, the benefit line, okay? We start to see it hockey stick up. Now, this is more like 1 24-hour fast per week, okay? Definitely solid benefits. And this is where a lot of people, from a longevity perspective, like to land. It's just easy to maintain. They say, hey, Monday I'm gonna fast and do a 24-hour fast. It's great, okay? But it's not at the tip of the iceberg there. So the thing is, we're getting more benefit. We are getting longer periods of time in ketosis. If we get into ketosis for 8 hours with each 24-hour fast, hypothetically, the more that we can have a 24-hour fast, the frequency, in theory, the better to a certain point. So having that 24-hour fast once a week, you have that 8-hour exposure of being exposed to ketones once a week. That's great, and that can have potential cellular effects. It's also a little bit harder to undo the metabolic and caloric benefit there, right? If you reduced calories by 3,000 calories because you didn't eat for 24 hours, you would have to literally overeat 3,000 calories the remainder of the week to undo or offset the benefits of that, right? Then we move into zone 3. Zone 3 is the optimal stage. This is 1 to 2 24-hour fasts per week. And again, we're talking longevity, we're talking just overall health benefit. Great place to be, and it's the top of the curve. Top maximal benefit coming in there with 6 to 8 fasts per month when they're longer 24-hour fasts. Probably more like 15 fasts if we're doing 16 to 20-hour fasts. Okay, so we see this directly with kind of hormetic stressor charts and data. Now, the reason you're getting a good benefit here, you have more caloric deficit, so you're having all those signaling pathways, AMPK phosphorylation, NAD, all the benefits that come there. Very hard to undo it. You'd have to consciously be trying to eat more to really undo, 6 to 8 good aggressive fasts per month. Now, the other thing that we have to look at is, again, from a longevity perspective, being exposed to ketones is beneficial, and you do want to see yourself with a good fast like this above 0.7 to 1 millimolar of ketones. So if you're measuring ketones, you want to be above 1 millimole, excuse me. Now this is very good because of what's called histone deacetylase inhibition. It has a powerful effect on the cells there. The brain effect, being able to have the network stability and the brain energetics that are so well documented, those benefits we want from fasting, very important to be exposed to those ketones, whether you do a ketogenic diet or not. I would suggest, even if you cannot fast for 24 hours, if it's difficult, I would definitely recommend adding maybe some MCT powder or something into your fast. Technically, it breaks the autophagy phase of your fast a little bit if you were to do this, but I put a link down below for a company called KetoBrainz. They make an MCT creamer. It is unreal. Seriously, as someone that has pioneered a lot of stuff in the keto world, I was really blown away by this because this works super well if you wanted to add it to a fast. It's MCT powder along with theanine, which helps your brain kind of feel calm, along with alpha GPC, which helps your brain feel kind of calm, cool, and collected as well. And then it also has lion's mane in it, which is an adaptogenic mushroom compound that helps with neurogenesis, helps the brain kind of fire better. So if you are trying to get into this zone with a little bit more ketones during a fast, definitely recommend adding this to your coffee or adding it to your tea, or you do what I do and just dry scoop it because it tastes good. Unreal stuff, really, really powerful. I'm not just saying it. I met the guys, I know them, they're out of Santa Barbara, they're not too far from me. So that link down below, if you use the code DeLauer10, DeLauer10 will save you 10% off your order with them. So it comes in a big old bag, so you can add it during your fast. Again, it does stop the autophagy phase of your fast, but it will at least drive the ketone levels higher. And then you can have it on the days that you're not fasting to keep those ketones a little bit higher in the morning. So check them out. Again, use that link down below and use that code to save 10% off your order of KetoBrainz. It's awesome stuff. Then we get into zone 4. Okay, this is where we start to run into a problem because it's hard to notice. With zone 4, you are starting to fast maybe 10 to 15 24-hour fasts per month. And you're still getting benefit, but you're starting to realize maybe some muscle's being wasted, you don't necessarily realize it, because you notice, see, the benefit curve has gone down. So now you're kind of wasting your time and energy. Is it really worth it? I know people like to fast because it's easy and they feel good, so there is that net benefit we have to look at, but we also have to pay attention to the fact that your benefit is really not as solid there. Then you move into zone 5, and this is where you're fasting like 15 plus 24-hour fasts per month. Flat out, just too much. Okay, this level literally becomes toxic. And you look at this chart, you see it. Okay, this becomes a more toxic situation because now the stressor is so overpowering that your body can't even keep up. The idea behind fasting is a little bit of stress, adaptation. A little bit of stress, adaptation. So much stress, you can't even adapt. It just breaks you down. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go run 3 miles to improve my cardiovascular health versus I'm gonna run a marathon every day. You're gonna break your body down. So some things that you look for: if you start wasting muscle, if your strength starts going down, you're probably in zone 4 or 5 and you're not getting as much benefit, especially zone 5. So if you start noticing, hey, I can't bench press as much, that's a problem. Or hey, I can't run as well without my legs getting tired, or I can't curl as much. Those are good indicators that you've gone a little too far and that autophagic flux is starting to break down the proteins in your muscle, okay? The other thing is, if you start getting like really, really frail, if you feel like injuries are happening, things like that, that's when you're getting to that toxic state. Another thing is complexion. Now, I've been here myself. If I start fasting too much, my complexion turns kind of almost grayish. It's like you lose that vibrance, okay? Very important. Keep an honest look and have other people keep you in check, because that's when fasting can literally become dangerous and you don't have that same effect. Now, the ketones to a certain degree can offset some of the negative impacts because they are muscle preserving, but we have to look at the big picture. What are you trying to get out of this? You're trying to get longevity and vibrance and vitality and health. You're not trying to just win a race for who can fast the most, right? So I think we need to consider all of this. So as always, keep it locked in here on my channel. I'll see you tomorrow.